I didn't reply. I didn't have to. Because 8 hours away, up in the mountains, my cabin was waiting. And it was no longer the same place they remembered. Mark wasn't always like this. When we were kids, I thought of him as my brother more than my cousin. He was older, confident, the one who taught me how to throw a baseball and drive stick. But as we grew up, something shifted. I built my life brick by brick. Mark took shortcuts. Where I saved, he borrowed. Where I worked, he joked. And every time he stumbled, family covered for him. When I built the cabin, he was the first to mock me. All that money for a shack in the woods? You'll never even use it. Yet every holiday, he'd nudge me about borrowing it. I always said no. Not out of greed, but because I knew the truth. Once Mark took something, he never gave it back. The betrayal didn't come overnight. It crept in, disguised as banter. First, his jokes about squatting in my cabin. Then the way my mother and uncle chimed in, telling me to share because I was single and didn't need it. Last Thanksgiving, I overheard him in the kitchen whispering to his wife, "He won't stop us. He never does." That was the moment the line was crossed. I didn't argue, I didn't confront him. I smiled through dinner, passed the potatoes, and let everyone think I was still the quiet one. But when I drove back up the mountain that weekend, I installed something new. Reinforced locks, motion sensors, hidden cameras tucked into the porch lanterns and the mantel clock, a sound system wired into the beams, and all of it linked to my phone. The cabin wasn't just mine anymore. It was a trap. So when Mark made his announcement, when the family cheered him on, I played the part, silent, compliant, the pushover. And when their cars rolled into the gravel driveway after that long drive, coolers rattling, kids shouting, I was already watching. They didn't knock. They didn't hesitate. They walked inside like they owned it. "Home sweet home!" Mark shouted, arms wide. That's when I tapped the first button. The doors sealed with a mechanical click. At first, they brushed it off. Old cabin, old locks. Mark rattled the handle. His wife laughed nervously. The kids ran up the stairs, calling dibs on bedrooms. Then the lights flickered. The wife frowned. Mark? He muttered something about bad wiring, but I knew better. The cameras caught every expression. Confusion, amusement fading into unease. Then came the voice. My voice. "Welcome to my cabin. You wanted it for the summer? Now it's all yours." The kids froze. His wife's hand flew to her mouth. Mark's bravado cracked for the first time. "This isn't funny," he shouted at the ceiling. I stayed silent. Room by room, I stripped away their comfort. The fridge? Empty. The beds? Bare frames. The closets? Chains and empty hangers. When they turned on the TV, their own faces filled the screen. Every angle, every room. A reminder they weren't guests. The kids whimpered. The wife whispered, "Mark, let's go." But the doors held. I let them stew before I spoke again. My voice filled the cabin, low, deliberate. "Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you think you could take what's mine and laugh about it?" Silence. Only their breathing. This cabin wasn't built for thieves. Mark's anger cracked into desperation. "We're family!" he yelled, voice breaking. Family. That word again, used like a weapon. "Exactly," I answered, "and that's why you're still breathing." Then I cut the power. Darkness swallowed them. Only the red glow of the emergency lights remained. Their faces, captured on the cameras, were pale, terrified, stripped of all arrogance. They wanted my cabin for the summer? For one night, they could have it. Trapped, exposed. Every creak of the wood, every howl of the wind outside amplified their fear. And I watched it all from miles away, coffee in hand, calm as ever. By morning, I unlocked the doors. No speeches, no warnings. They didn't thank me. They didn't even look back. They shoved their belongings into the cars with trembling hands, eyes hollow from a night they'd never forget. When the engines roared to life, I muted the cameras. Their lesson was complete. Later, my mother called. Her voice was sharp, trembling. "What did you do to them?" I kept my answer simple. I gave them the summer in my cabin, exactly what they wanted. She sputtered, tried to scold me, then fell quiet when I added, "If they ever set foot there again, I won't be so generous." She didn't reply. The silence was victory enough. No one in my family talks about the cabin now. They avoid the subject, avoid me, avoid the mountain.